Hello and welcome to Write and Speak Better podcast with your host, Olalekan Mandela. Before I dive into this podcast, let me start with the question. Have you ever sat down and asked yourself, what would I be in the next 5 years? Well, if you have asked yourself that question, then good. But if you haven't, then I bet you're here to have some deep self-reflection moment. Because in today's podcast, we will be considering an amazing speaker from Global Women Network, where she will be discussing her amazing journey after asking herself the same question I popped. Where would you be in the next 5 years? Please stay tuned and don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short time out. My name is Olalekan Mandela, Mandela of Nigeria and of South Africa, and this is for Write and Speak Better podcast. In case you're just joining us, this is where we help writers to become better and speakers to speak more confidently. So please stay tuned and don't go anywhere while we bring Paulette Simmons on board.
Audio Jungle.
Hello, Paulette. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful, Mr. Mandela. How are you?
Wow, I love your energy. It's so nice to have you on this podcast episode. And I'm super proud or super glad to be your podcast interviewer. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful and I'm super excited about being here and thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, straight into the interview without no hesitation. What is your name? What do you do? Who are you? The Write and Speak Better podcast would like to meet you.
Well, I am Paulette Livingston. I am your purpose catalyst. I enjoy, love, and am so motivated to give energy to people who are seeking to discover their purpose through their passions. And I do this by getting to their authentic self. Everyone don't always know themselves, and so once we know who we are, we can start heading towards our destiny.
So, what part of public speaking do you do?
I am a I am part of a women's global speaking ministry. I like to call it my ministry. I am a part of Dr. Tina D. Lewis's Global Women Speakers platform. I've been absolutely inspired and motivated to do so for some years now. I started this because I knew for myself I didn't have a whole lot of outlets um, to talk to adult women that had been through something. And so I like to say that I was a behind the scenes girl, right? And one day God spoke to me and said, there is something in your belly and it needs to be heard. So I am an international speaker. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a teacher. I'm a mentor. And I love everything that I do.
Wow, that seems like a lot in one sentence. How were you able to cope with all of that?
You know what? You take it day by day, moment by moment. I like to tell everyone likes to look at the whole elephant. Yes, you look at the whole picture, but you take moment by moment. You see the end
Mm,
destiny, but you walk slowly. I like to tell people when I'm coaching them, you want to learn your lessons as you go along, but you don't want to speed through it. You don't want it to go too fast because you could miss something. And it's like any test that we take in life. If you miss something, you have to take that test over, right? So take your time, take one moment at a time, moment by moment, and you discover that you're stronger, become more wiser, and become more inspired to seek even more.
I understand. Now, moving straight to what you said earlier, what prompted you to choose this niche of public speaking? I mean, we have so many types of public speaking. We have transformational speakers, we have keynotes, we have motivational, we have so many public speaking. But what made you choose motivational public speaking? And when did you start? What inspired that? What did it?
So, what inspired me to become a motivational speaker, and I like to call myself an influencer, is one day uh, laying in the bed with my then husband, I was asking the question that so many people ask. you hit goals in life. And so I asked the question, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? And the
Mm.
response that I got uh, really, really hit and penetrated, because it was the first time I've gotten the answer of, I don't feel like that. And so it made me look inwardly to say, what's happening here? It made me do a recalculation of myself, of where I was then, and what I needed to do to propel my life to where I knew I had seen images of where I was going. And so I decided then, and again, I said moment by moment, chunk by chunk, piece by piece. So the first piece for me was becoming that motivational speaker and that influencer was by losing weight. I lost about 40 pounds, and I
Ah,
posted my journey. And the response that I was getting back from people, inspiring them, motivating them to get up, if not just to take a walk. I was doing high intensity training, and I let the world see me go through the transformation. In that, I
wow.
started being asked to speak. And as I accepted these speaking engagements, I could just hear God saying, it's your time.
Yeah, go for it. I think what you're trying to say is that you became a motivational speaker from self-reflection. Just when you reflect on yourself, that you were able to say, okay, this is what will work for me. This is what I want to go through. This is what I would like to do, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And then going through the transition and transforming it into the woman I am today and still evolving to become, I realized while talking to others, men and women, that they were in the same boat. They were seeking some of the same things. People were seeking purpose. They are seeking, what do I do now? I like to say there is life after divorce, grown children, and 50. And when I say 50, that's because now I'm in my 50s, but this could be 30, 40, 50, 60, 80. It doesn't matter. It's when it hits you and you decide there is more to life than this. There's more to me than
Exactly.
this.
Exactly.
And yeah, yeah.
I agree with you because there are times where we think we there is nothing more we want to do with our lives. But the moment there are some challenges or the moment some things happen to us, we get to this stage of self-reflection where we know that there is something more in me that the world needs to
Hmm.
know.
Yes, 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 yes. And
Mm.
that's why I like to help people discover their authentic self. It's not just that you were somebody's mom, you were somebody's caregiver, you're a spouse, um, you're a church member. It's more to you than that. And it's finding out what that
Mm.
passion is so that you can begin to walk into your destiny, your
I
purpose,
think
your calling.
yeah, exactly. I think you're fit for that because you have discovered yourself. Now you are helping others to discover themselves. Let's dive into motivational speaking or
Mhm.
motivational public speaking. How do you know that what you're saying is sinking? I mean, how do you know that the audience are agreeing with what you are saying when you are doing this public speaking? Is it by nodding? Is it when they are clapping? Is it when they are shaking their heads? Is it when do you know that communication is taking place? These people are ready to take the leap. When exactly do you know that?
So for me, I noticed when I'm looking at posture, I'm looking at the eye contact, I'm looking at the nodding of the heads, I'm looking at them almost engaged, sitting to the edge of their seats, like, yes, yes. I look at the tears, because sometimes I like to tell people, get your tissues together, because sometimes it brings tears when you start to think about where your life is and where you like it to go. When you get a glimpse, you want more. So when I see that they're so intensely paying attention and listening and clapping and applauding, that motivates me to know that I'm on the right track and that I'm making contact. And I say, if it's a room of five or if it's a room of 1,000, if I can influence and encourage and inspire one, I have done my job.
If you can inspire one, you know you have done your job. That looks good. So, what are the techniques? Like, how do you engage with live audience? How do you engage with them? Now, I know that is the feedback to know that you are doing the job, but how do you engage live audience? Do you first start with a comedy, or do you what exactly do you do to put people in the mood?
So I usually start out with a story. You like to hit people's pain spot, right? So I introduce a story, a pain story, and I build on that story just a little, and then I give you the glory out of the story, right? So that means now we're taking a transition. It's no longer pain, but turning that pain into your passion. And just as I did it, I'll let them know that they can do it too.
Yes. Before I ask the next question, let's pause. Okay. All right. So let me go on to the next question now. We all know that public speaking is not a degree. There is a way you learn the craft and you grow yourself in it and you see yourself succeeding in it. So how were you able to become a global motivational speaker that you are today? Do you attend some trainings? Because I went through your bio, I saw something like the global women speakers. I want to know about how this whole process.
Well, with the Global Women Speakers, someone sought me out, to be honest, via Facebook. So, social media was one of the ways that I got recognized, and they asked me to be a part of a conference. And from that conference, which was when I met Tina D. Lewis, Dr. Tina D. Lewis, who is of Global Women Speakers. And after having some contact with her, I went and spoke in New York, and it was amazing. And I said, yes, this is somewhere I feel like I'm led to join, to expand and expound on what was being built in my business. And so here I am today speaking with you.
So you mentioned Dr. Tina Lewis
Oh, yes.
in public speaking and how you become a motivational speaker, which you are today. So what about her? Who is she and how do you meet her? What impact has she done for you? I would like to know.
Yes. So again, I met Tina D. Lewis of Global Women Speakers. I met her through a platform, Win Conferences, and they are an international conference group who speaks all over the world. And I had an opportunity to speak to an audience in Dubai, and I did it virtually because it was during the pandemic. And from there, I was introduced to Dr. Lewis, and I joined a conference that was being held in New York. And it was the first one last year. And I got to meet her in person. And from there, I knew that I was to follow global women speakers and becoming even more exposed in the international speaking environment. I knew I was supposed to be a part of this global women speakers because of her outreach, because of her resources, because of her connections. And I am a believer that there comes a time, I don't care what part of life it is, that you can't always do it alone, that you need to start to collaborate. And
Exactly.
I I knew that I was to collaborate with her. And Dr. Lewis have really exposed me to um, some very talented and wise women and men, and I'm super grateful to her.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Lewis. We are grateful. All right. Away from the global women speakers, back to the motivational public speaking. What scenario has ever happened to you which you would have loved it happened differently? Or if you could start again, what would you have done differently?
If I could start this journey over again, the one thing that I would do differently is start earlier. I wish I had started earlier. I wish I
Mm,
was brave enough to come forth and speak to a larger audience than just 10, 15, 20 people in the room. So
Hmm.
that's one of my regrets of not starting earlier. But even in that regret, it's all about timing. And so I'm right where I'm supposed to be now.
Well, if you ask me, I think delay is not denial, and it is
Hey,
rather you still find purpose. There's so many people working out there, they are still don't know what they want to do. They still don't know what they want to
absolutely.
do. So for
Hmm.
you to even start doing what you love and what you always wanted to be, I think we've made the right choice somewhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One other thing I would like to add to that too is watching the company that you keep. You have to watch the energy and the people that surround you because so many times people
They
can
may not be
keep
the
you,
solution.
yeah, people can keep you from where you're supposed to be because maybe they're not so motivated themselves to do any more. Some people become stagnant. Some people are just very content where they are in life, and that's fine. No judgment passed. But if you're looking for more and you know there's more, then you have to go for your more, and you can't let anything hinder you from going for your more because we're not here just to live for one person, two people, or people that think that they need you. There's a whole world out here, a whole world that is waiting to hear for me what Paulette Simmons needs to say. And I've been told that, and I can walk in it confidently. And that's what I'm doing. I'm living my life on purpose, in purpose, with a purpose. And that is
Hmm.
to
So
inspire and encourage.
you should be careful of the company you keep because they can shape or determine the outcome of your career.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So one last question before we move to the second segment. Um, what is the biggest challenge in the industry today, in the public speaking industry, which you think or which you would like to address or tell the upcoming public speakers?
I think one thing is for me, I say we need more. We need more. There's room for everyone. There's a segment of people that think, you're going to step on their toes or you're going to take something from them. No, there's room for us all. And it's all about what you bring, it's your uniqueness that you bring. And so if I'm uniquely me and you're uniquely you, then I don't have to worry about you stepping on my toes or taking something that is my God given. So if it's what has for me is for me because God said so, then I'm gonna walk confidently in that and I can share this platform. I don't mind sharing this platform. I want to share this platform because at the end of the day, it's about helping others, serving others. And I'm just a strong believer that once a server, always a servant. And as long as you stay focused and keep serving others, everything else will fall into place. The money will come, the
Mm,
audience will
mm.
come, the collaborations will come, the bigger conferences will come.
Just
But
remain
stay a
consistent.
server, be consistent, stay persistent, stay determined, stay dedicated to yourself, believe in yourself.
Hmm. Thank you very much. So when I was checking your bio, I saw a book and it really caught my attention, like it really interested me. What is it all about? You have a book that you wrote. Please, can you tell us what it's all about?
Yes, so I wrote the transparency theory, and this was me coming into my authentic self. And so I wrote this book. It just came out last year, but it had been in my belly for many years. I do journal, and I've been journaling since 1999. And so in that, it was me being transparent with myself and what I had been through and what I had dealt with in life to get to this point. And so it's just about being honest, being transparent, being vulnerable, and trustworthy to so that you can have better relationships in life, whatever those relationships are, whether it's a relationship with yourself, whether it's relationship with parents, co-workers, business partners, spouses, mates, children, whatever it is, being transparent, being honest and true to you. And I believe that in that while building and discovering all the possibilities that are there, you begin to want to release yourself of any baggage that had been lingering, any deep rooted, maybe generational curses. You want to rid yourself of those things so you can live freely and liberated
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
share genuinely with others. I tell people I'm an
Yeah.
open book. There's no secret to me. What you see is what you get.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. Wow.
And
So,
that's what
so
this
the
book is about.
so this book is based out of the inspiration of self authenticity and self honesty.
Absolutely. 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 From
Wow.
childhood on up.
Wow,
Uh,
that must have demand a lot of effort. I mean, that must have been a hard work on its own.
you know what? To be very honest, Mandela, it really was, in some things, facing those things again, lying and sitting in those deep truths about my upbringing.
Yes, 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 yes. It's not everybody that can share the stories to the world because maybe they're gonna feel ashamed or
Hmm.
what are they going to say? Oh, what are they going to say to me? How would they look me? Oh, they won't call me for this, they won't call me for that. So I
Hmm.
think for someone to write about themselves to the world, I think it takes another level of bravery, takes another level of courage.
Yes, absolutely. Because you're being vulnerable now. You put yourself out there. And, so many people, we live in this judgmental world, but when you really realize and think about it, we've all come through something. We've all had something. And so I'm just saying, here's mine. And I like to say, because now no one can dangle the carrot in my face. Hey, but you remember you did this? Remember you went through that? No, because I'm going to tell my
Hmm.
story. And guess what? The best person to tell my story is me because I'm the main character. So if I'm the main character of the story, I'm going to tell it best versus what you think or what you're assuming or what you may have heard or what you may know.
Hmm. Exactly, exactly. So if anybody says something outside the book, we will consider that as an hypocrisy.
Absolutely. All day. Yes.
Yes, because for
All
you to
day.
write about yourself, that means you are trying to tell the world, this is me. Whatever you find in this book is just me. Anything outside this book
Yes,
is not me.
it's me. Hmm.
Yes. So I
Absolutely.
think thank you so much for sharing. So if anybody wants to order your book, how will they get it? And do you deliver nationwide?
I do. I do deliver nationwide. You can go to my website, which is www.livinglifestrongcoaching.com.
Come again. If anybody wants to order your book, how will they go through it?
They could get my book through the website. It's www.livinglifestrongcoaching.com.
www.livinglifestrongcoaching.com.
Yes,
Okay, we will add that in the description for anybody who wants to order. All right. So before we call it today or before we wrap it up for this podcast session, what would be your advice for new generation public speakers? I mean, new upcoming public speakers or people who want to be public speaker as a career. What would be your advice for them? What should they expect? What are the challenges they are likely to face, and what the world will look like out there?
I would encourage them to start where they are, not to go too fast, not to be a part of everything because everything is not good. I would say trust in their instincts, stay consistent and persistent, and determined to reach their goals.
Determined to reach their goals. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, thank you, Paulette. We are glad to have you on Write and Speak Better podcast. Do you have any other information you would like people to know? Yeah.
Just that I absolutely love everything that I do, everything.
Wow, wow.
And I
We are
thank you for
happy.
this opportunity.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So, when we invite you next time, would you honor our invite?
Absolutely.
All right,
I'm
all
looking
right.
forward
Special.
to it.
All right. No problem. Oh, special thanks to Dr. Tina D. Lewis for this
Yes.
for introducing Paulette Sami. Paulette is a coach, motivational speaker, and award-winning public speaker. Thank you so much for coming, Paulette.
Thank you.
We are glad to have you. Please have a good day.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Audio Jungle.
And that's it for our guest for today. Her name is Paulette Simmons. You can find out more about her in her social media handles at Paulette Simmons on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, or visit our website www.livinglifestrongcoaching.com. Again, I repeat www.livinglifestrongcoaching.com. Thank you so much and God bless. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.